Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make this circle dress with high-low sleeves. If this is something you are interested in, please keep on watching and let's get started. So for this dress, I'm going to be using about 3 yards of fabric, and the first thing I'll do is to fold it in a triangular form like this. Just watch how I'm doing it. This is because it's a circle dress, so we can't just fold it the normal way we fold our materials when we want to cut. So I'm just going to fold it like this. So just make sure you fold it properly so that it doesn't shift when you are cutting. So you just fold it like this. So right after folding, I'll take my shoulder measurement, and my shoulder divided by 2 is 8 inches. I'll mark that 8 inches like this. So what I'll do right now is to mark a straight line at that place I marked my shoulder measurement. This will serve as my shoulder line. So at that place I marked my shoulder measurement, I'm just going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I'll mark the neck width I want, and I use 3 inches for my neck width. So you can use more than 3 inches or less than 3 inches if you want, depending on how wide you want it to be. So I'm going to connect that my neck width to my shoulder slope like this. So right now I'll come down by about 2.5 inches for my neck depth. So you can use 3 or 4 inches depending on how low you want it to be, but I use 2.5. Then I'm going to connect like this. So right now I'm going to use my curved ruler to make a curve at the neck like this. Taking my armhole measurement, which is about 8 inches, then I'll mark it like this. Then I'll come to this part of my material also and make sure that I'm marking that same 8 inches that I marked at my armhole. I'm just trying to make sure that it aligns with the one I marked first, because this material is a little bit slanted, so there won't be any mistake or shortage. I'll just mark it like this. I'll connect like this. Then I'll also draw a line like this. This is just my armhole line. So the next thing I'll do is to divide my bust circumference by 4, and that will give me 9 inches. I'll mark it at my armhole like this. Then I'll divide this my armhole by 2, and it will give me 4 inches. I'll just come out by half an inch like this. I'm just trying to draw my armhole curve. Then I'll connect like this. Then I'll use my curve to just draw my armhole curve this way. I'll just connect it to that bust point that I made, and I'll just draw it this way. So the next thing I'll do right now is take the length of my dress. That is how long I want the dress to be. So I'll just mark from my shoulder line like this. I'll just keep marking all the way like this. I'm sorry my camera didn't capture that part, but you just place your tip rule at the shoulder line and just mark all the way like this. So after marking, I'll just use my curved ruler to connect it like this. As you can see, this is the way I marked it, so I will just connect it this way. So right now I'll measure my shoulder to my bust point, which is about 10 inches. I'll mark that 10 inches on my fabric like this. I'll just mark it across like this. Then I'll draw a straight line this way. So right now, at that armhole that I marked my bust circumference, I'm going to be marking 2.5 inches for my allowance and my ease. 1 inch will be for the ease of the dress, while the remaining 1.5 inches will be for the allowance. The ease is for the dress is kind of free, so it's not supposed to be very fitted. That's why I added 1 inch for ease. So right now at that bust line that I marked, I'm just going to mark the same bust circumference that I marked at my armhole, and I'll add the same 2.5 inches that I added for my allowance and my ease. Then I'm simply going to connect with my ruler like this. I'm just going to use my ruler to mark it all the way down to the length of the dress like this. Then I'll make a slight curve like this. So right now I'm going to be marking 1/2 inch at my shoulder slope for allowance. Just make sure you add your allowance to avoid shortage. So I'm just going to connect like this. So right now I'm done drafting, and I'll simply just cut it out like this. So I realized that the dress was a little bit short. That's why I added this second line. I just added about a few inches to the length of the dress. So right now I'm going to be cutting the back of the dress, and as you can see, I already folded my material into two like this, and I'm going to be marking about 1.5 inches for my zipper allowance. And if your neck width is about 4 to 5 inches, you don't need a zipper allowance, but because mine is about 3 inches, it's going to be a little bit tight. That's why I added zip. So for the neck depth at the back, I'm going to be using 1.5 inches. You can use the same 3 inches I used at the front if you want, but I'm going to be using 1.5 inches. And I'm just going to use my curve ruler to make it curve like this. So I'm done drafting the back pattern, and I'm just going to cut it out right now. The only difference with the back is just the zipper allowance, and if you don't want to add the zip, you can just cut it out the same way I drafted the front. So I'm just going to cut it out like this. So this is the front and the back. As you can see, this is the front part and the back part. So for the back part, I'm just going to divide it into two like this because of my zipper allowance. So right now I'm going to be using this part of my material for my bias. I already ironed it to look like a bias tape. So I'm just going to take it to my sewing machine, and I'll use it to fold the neck inside like this. So I'll also go ahead and sew down the zipper allowance of the back. I'll just go ahead and stitch it all the way down like this. Then I'll also fold the shoulder. I'll sew the shoulder of the front and the back together. I'll just place them on top of each other right after sewing the zipper allowance for the back. I'll just go ahead and attach the shoulders like this. So right now I'll be drafting the sleeve for the dress, and I'm going to be using the basic sleeve pattern first. And the first thing I'll do is to mark about 5 inches from the top of my paper like this. Then I'll mark a straight line like this. So right now I'm going to be taking my biceps measurement, which is 12 divided by 2 will give me 6, and I'm going to mark it. Then I'm going to add 2 inches for allowance. So I'm just going to connect that 2 inches all the way up like this. So right now I'm going to divide whatever I have on that line by 2, and I have about 9.75 inches. I'm going to divide that by 2, and whatever it gives me, I'm just going to mark that in the middle like this. If you already know how to draft a sleeve, this should be easy for you. Then I'll come down by 1/2 inch like this from that dots that I made. So right now I'm going to be making a curve like this. You can use your curved ruler to make the curve. So just watch how I'm making the curve. So this is my armhole. I'm done drafting. So right now, to make sure that my armhole is correct, I'll mark whatever I have on my material like this. So whatever it gives me, I'll go to my pattern paper also to measure it. So I noticed I was a little bit short after measuring it. So I'm just going to add whatever allowance remaining I'm supposed to add. I'm just going to add it and connect like this. So at this point I didn't know my phone wasn't recording, but all I did was measure the full length of my sleeve. The full length of my sleeve is 23 inches, including 1/2 inch for sewing allowance, and I'm going to just remove 5 inches from that 23 inches, and whatever I have I just marked a straight line. Then at my armhole I measured whatever I had there, and I just drew a straight line. Then I added 1 inch at this part of the sleeve. This will be the length of the sleeve. Now I just added 1 inch. Then I used my ruler to connect like this. That's all I did. Then from this part of my sleeve, that is 1 inch that I left, I'm just going to use my curve ruler to mark it like this, all the way like this. Please, if you are confused about any part of the video, just ask your questions in the comment section, and I'll answer them. Right now I'm just going to cut it out. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and cut on my material. As you can see, I folded my material into 2 before cutting, so I'm just going to cut out 2 pieces of this. That's for the left and for the right sleeve. So right now I'm going to be cutting the gathered part of the sleeve, and I'm going to be using 90 inches for each sleeve. So to get that 90 inches, I'm going to cut out 30 inches 3 times. That will be the length. I'll cut it out 3 times. That will be 6 in total for both sleeves. Then for the width, I'm going to be using 8 inches. I'm going to mark the 8 inches like this on each of the 30 inches sleeve that I'm cutting, gathers that I'm cutting. So this is 30 inches by 7 inches. So I'm going to be cutting out 3 of this for each sleeve. So that will be 9 in total. So right now I'll go ahead and attach the 3 pieces of each of the sleeve together. Remember it's 90 yards, but I cut it into 3. So I'll just go ahead and attach it together. So when I'm done attaching, I'll just hem the down part of it before I run my gathered stitch. So at the upper part also, I already ran a stitch on it for my gathers. I just used a loose stitch for it at the upper part like this. Then I'm just going to gently drag it like this. If you have a gathered foot for your machine, for your sewing machine, you can as well use that, but I don't have that, so I'm just going to gently drag it. Please be careful when dragging so it doesn't cut. So right now I'm done dragging it, and I'm just going to go ahead and place it on my sleeve like this. I'll just gently place it on my sleeve and pin it down. So what you need to do is just carefully arrange it on the sleeve like this. So after pinning, I'll just go to my sewing machine and attach like this. So right now I'm going to attach the sleeve to my dress, and I'm just going to place the midpoint of my sleeve like this on my dress. Then I will use my pin to pin it down like this. Just going to pin it down this way. So I'll do this for both sides of my sleeves, and I'll just go to my sewing machine and run a stitch on it. So I'm done attaching the sleeve of the dress. As you can see, this is what it looks like after attaching it. And I also went ahead to join the front and back piece of the dress together using the allowance that I left when I was cutting it. So the last thing I'm going to do now is to attach my zip to it, and the dress is ready. So I've attached the zip, and as you can see, the dress is ready, and we've come to the end of today's tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. You can also share it, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.